WWE Evolution has been in the record books for a few weeks now, and already fans and other stars alike all have been asking the question, what's next for the premium live event known as Evolution? Some people believe that it should be a yearly event, while others believe it should happen at least every couple years or so, but not every 7 years. The first the first all women's premium live event known as Evolution got quite a bit of backlash as people believed that the Raw Women's Championship never should have main evented that night, as people believed that the SmackDown Women's title should have been the main event. That match was Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch in a last woman standing match for the SmackDown Women's title. This year's Evolution featured Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's World title, which became a true instant classic. Arguably one of the greatest matches we had ever seen in just in this year alone. Absolutely incredible. I will say a lot of people that I will say that Evolution truly is a excuse me. Evolution is truly a night to celebrate women's wrestling, because everyone knows that if it wasn't for women like the Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, Wendy Richter, Leilani Kai, Bull Nakano, I think Bertha Faye, if I remember correctly. I think Bertha Faye was her name. I'm gonna have to take a look. I think it was. Let's see. Yep, I was right. Bertha Faye. If it wasn't for as also for Bertha Faye, and women like Alundra Blaze, women like Sable, China, Tori, who else? Jacqueline, Ivory, Trish, Lita, Beth Phoenix, Kelly. If it, the Bella Twins. If it wasn't for women like them, women's wrestling, even you guys know, women's wrestling never would have been as big of a success as it is now. Think of the talent. Think of the talent that's in you guys will have to give me 1 second. Something just came up. I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, I am back. Sorry about that. Something literally just came up for no reason at all. That the issue got resolved. Anyway, as I was saying, even you guys know that without all those women that I just named, Moolah, Mae Young, Bertha Faye, women's wrestling never would have existed, and it wouldn't have been as big of a success as it is now, with women like Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, 75 Cara, Julia, Naomi. Who else? From NXT, Thea Hale, JC Jane, Jordan Grace, Kalani Jordan, all these women that we see on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WWE Evolve, that we see today, even from WWE LFG. It all happened because of the women of the past. And I know that recently Jordan Grace had been she was once asked about Evolution, and even she believes that having Evolution come up every couple of years or so would be perfectly fine. just as long as they didn't do it every 7 years. Excuse me. Just as long as they didn't do it every 7 years, like they did with the first PLE, which again took place in 2018, and then fast forward to 2025, which was 7 years later. The card from the first Evolution PLE was definitely a night to remember. And what's really interesting is that the card was pretty loaded. I mean, you had about what? You had what? 2, 4, 6, 7, 27, 20, 29, 32, 35, 36, 37, 30, 39, 44, 42. Literally 42 women competed at Evolution. You had literally, think of the card that was on that took place. There was a dark match for Evolution, sort of like a pre-show, if you will. It was Dakota Kai versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT UK Women's Title. At that time, Rhea Ripley had just became the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion, and had a hell of a run as champion. Then of course you had Trish and Lita against Mickie James and Alicia Fox, with Alexa Bliss in their corner. And then of course you had Nia Jax winning a 20-woman battle royal for a future women's title match that featured women such as Ember Moon, let's see, such as Ember Moon, Kelly, Tori Wilson, Alundra Blaze, the Iconics. There was a lot of incredible talent. From that matchup. Then of course Toni Storm and Io Sky in the finals of the Mae Young Classic. Then of course you had the 6-woman tag that featured Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya against the Riot Squad. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Title. And then of course again as I mentioned, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, last woman standing for the SmackDown Women's Title. And then Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella, with Brie Bella in her sister's corner for the Raw Women's Title. Again, a lot of people believe that the last women's standing match should have been the main event because it was an instant classic, but it is what it is. And I will say, if you were to compare the first PLE to this one, it's absolutely crazy. And it's weird because one of the biggest differences between the two, first off, was the venue, the city. New York City, Nassau Coliseum for the first PLE. The second one was inside the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, which the previous night was where we saw Goldberg compete in his last match ever. And another big difference between the two is the fact that the second PLE featured the stars of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, whereas opposed to the first one, it also featured NXT UK as well, which again featured obviously Rhea and Toni Storm and Dakota Kai, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, just to name a few. This PLE, the second one, was it was by far, arguably one of the probably the better, probably the better of the two. And the reason why I say that is because there was 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 43. There were 43 women competing in this one compared to the previous PLE, and that's insane. And think about this, right? Think of what was on the card for the first PLE. The second PLE. Sorry, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, triple threat for the women's Intercontinental title. JC Jane and Jordan Grace for the NXT women's title. The Judgment Day, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Zaruka, and the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles. Another key difference is that back in 2018, the women's tag titles never existed. Now they do. So in my opinion, I feel like the women's PLE, the first PLE, should have happened in 2019, because that way the women's tag team titles could truly flourish at on such a big stage such as the first ever all women's premium live event. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus for the WWE women's title. Jade Cargill and Naomi in a no holds barred match. Stephanie Valkyrie eliminating Lash Legend to win a 20-woman battle royal, where the winner would get a title shot at Clash in Paris. And the rest of the eliminatees, were as followed: Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame, Ivy Nile, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Candice LeRae, Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Julia, B-Fab, Michin, Zelina Vega, Alba Fire, Lola Vice, Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, Nikki Bella, and Nia Jax. And then of course Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the women's world title. Obviously, Naomi turned it into a triple threat via her Money in the Bank cash in. I will say, looking at both PLEs, if you were to compare the two, again, the big difference was the attendance. The first PLE had almost 11,000 fans in attendance, where as opposed to the second one, it only had almost 9,000. Which some people believe that that's a bad ordeal. I honestly don't think it was. I think it's just more so the fact that it was more so of the fact that Saturday night's main event the previous night had shown more fans attend than Evolution. Why? No one knows. But it comes down to the big question: should Evolution become a yearly premium live event? And the answer is no. And the reason why I say no is because if it becomes a yearly event, where it comes once a year, and it showcases the female talent on a constant basis, there are a lot of fans who are probably not going to want to watch Evolution. They're not going to want to watch the PLE, and they're just going to be like, what's the point? Where are the guys? Why they're going to be like, why aren't the guys being showcased on this PLE when, why? What's the point? Where as opposed to everyone else believes that it should happen because of the fact that the women of WWE, they don't get as much respect as they should. But in my opinion, in my opinion, think about this. You look at WrestleMania back in April. Think about this, right? WrestleMania had showcased at least, let's see how many. 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. Had 11, okay? Had showcased 11 women at WrestleMania. Whereas opposed to the guys that night, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so obviously this year's WrestleMania had showcased more women on the card than last year's, because last year's I think there was only like maybe 9, like maybe at least like I think it was only like I'm trying to remember, at least like maybe 10 women last year, if I remember correctly. Clash of the Castle. Here we are. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so last year's WrestleMania only showcased 10 women, which included Io Sky, Bailey, um, the other 3 members of Damage Control, the Big Three, just to name some of them. Yeah. So in my opinion, again, if Evolution becomes a yearly thing, fans are gonna get bored of it, and they're gonna be like, okay, we don't want this anymore. We want something new. We want something fresh. We want something for this or something for that. That's what it's gonna come down to. But if it happens, but if Evolution comes around once every, let's say once every 3 years, that would just be perfect. That would be absolutely perfect, and it would truly become a true spectacle for women's wrestling. But again, this is only my opinion. I don't know what everyone else believes, but I will say that Evolution did truly not under deliver, it over delivered this year, where as opposed to the first one, it kind of under delivered in a way. But I feel like I feel like with the next Evolution PLE, it needs to showcase. It needs to be an event where all the championships get defended. The all literally the women's tag team titles, the women's North American title, the women's IC title, the US title, all the world titles. If that if all the championships in the women's division across all 3 brands, and even also WWE Evolve, if they all got showcased at the next Evolution PLE, with at least 3, maybe at least 3 other matches on the card, one of them being the traditional battle royal, then I have no doubt in my mind that the next Evolution PLE will truly become their version of WrestleMania. Like literally, Evolution would be their WrestleMania, which would be a true historic ordeal. But again, that's only my opinion. I don't know if WWE will truly truly make it a once a year thing. I don't know if they're gonna do it like once every 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or whatever. But I feel like if it happened every 3 or 4 years, that would be just fine. But if it was a yearly thing, once a like, it comes around once a year. I don't know. I think fans would get bored of it. I don't know about you guys. You guys can let me know down in the comments below. But on that note, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, be sure to follow me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.